Hi, welcome back to the channel, and I am really excited about today's video because I am going to be sharing with you all of the flowers that I'm going to be planting this season. And so this is flowers for the field, for the greenhouse, all the way through all the seasons, spring, summer, and fall. I'm going to be starting all of these from seed. A lot of them you could purchase as plugs, but I am not at a point where that is profitable for me yet. Starting the seeds is a lot more labor intensive, but that is the way that things are right now. Plus, I honestly kind of enjoy starting all of the seeds. So most of the seeds that I am starting are brand new packets that I have. I have some things from last year, but I will show you a picture on the screen of new and old things that I have that I'll be starting. I have everything in chronological order. There are some things I've already started, and I will share those with you, and I will link videos of what I have already done in case you want to go back and watch. And this is also through all of the seed starting season, which is really going to go, it actually really is all season. You'll see what I'm talking about as I explain when I'm going to start all of them. And I've got my calendar on my iPad that I have everything written down of when I'm starting what. And so everything's all organized, and I will be sharing that with you today. So sit back and relax, eat some lunch or grab some tea or whatever it is you like to do when you are watching a YouTube video. Enjoy looking at some pretty flowers. We're all getting a little bit antsy, aren't we, to kind of start some things and start thinking about it. And so this is a great time to start seed starting. It is not very much snow here on the ground right now, but we are supposed to get like crazy winter weather this weekend, like -40 wind chill and like 6 to 8 inches of snow. So this weekend will be a great weekend to get some seed starting done that I need to get done. So very first things I've already done in December is I have planted my Lisianthus seeds. And so if Lisianthus is something that you wanted to start, if you were in a cooler climate, like 4B and colder, you probably would be fine to start them. But if you are in any type of warmer climate than I am, which I consider myself a zone 5A when it comes to annuals, it's probably a little late to start your Lisianthus. You could try, but especially if you haven't ordered them yet, it's really going to be a little bit too late to get them started. They're not going to put on enough growth in the cool season to really make them grow during the summer and bloom during the summer. But so I picked 4 different varieties this time, one from each or 2 from each. Let's see here. Oops, sorry. I picked 3, my bad. Let me make sure I got that in order. I do. So I picked 3 different varieties. Sorry, that's my bad. So I got the Roseanne Black Pearl, which is a group 1. I got the Voyage Champagne, which is a group 2. And then I got the Lisadora Apricot, which is a group 3. And so I have all of those already started. Some of them have started to germinate. There are a couple that have not started to germinate. There's one variety that hasn't germinated yet. I don't know which one it is. And so I'm a little nervous about that because it's been over 2 weeks now, and I'm still not seeing anything happening. So hopefully they're just a little bit slow and we'll catch up with the other ones. Something else I have already started is violas. Those are down in trays. I have a link in the description for the video that I did for Lisianthus and violas. The Allsmere King Size Mix, started those. Imperial Antique Shades, started those. And the Blue Perfection Viola from Baker Creek, I also started those as well, and everything's doing great. They're growing fantastic. they germinated exactly the way they were supposed to. So all that's done, all that was in December. Now, also the only thing I've done in January so far is geraniums, which is the Maverick Apple Blossom geranium. And that is the only variety I have of geranium. Have started those. They germinate so quickly, so fast. And they're really not super slow growing. They are a little bit, I guess, but it's more so that I really want them blooming by the time I put them out on the farm stand to sell, which is going to be mid-May to late May. So I have to get a real quick early start on those if I want them to be blooming by that time. Okay, so now here's the things that I'm going to start this week. I have not done yet. I'm probably going to do it this weekend. First is snapdragons. And so I have 4 different varieties of snapdragons. I've got the Antibees Apricot, which is a group 1, and I'm pretty sure that these are brand new. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they are. And then I've got the Costa Mix, which is a group 2. I had these last year and they were great. I have the Early Sunrise Mix, which I have not done before. These are a group 2-3. And then I have the Potomac Custom Mix, which is a group 3-4, which I did also last year, which was just beautiful as well and grew really, really well. So the point of having all of the different groups is so that I can have this nice succession. I'm going to be starting all of these and then splitting them up in between the field and the greenhouse. They grew better in my greenhouse than they did in the field, but then I will have a huge range of starting because they're gonna start to bloom in the greenhouse first before they do in the field. So I'll have some in the greenhouse, and then group 1 will bloom in the field, and then group 2 will bloom in the greenhouse and then in the field. And so I should, if it all works out well, I should have snapdragons throughout most of this season. And these group 1s I'm going to keep around because they will reflush. They're not going to be as big and bulky as the first group, but I will keep them around because they should be ready by fall to be able to use. So I got to start those this week. I need some more seed starting mix. Then sweet peas, I'm going to start this week as well. The Elegance Formula Mix. Last year I did Mammoth something or other from Johnny's. They were great, but they are bred to do better in heat, which is fine if you live in a hot place, but it didn't help me very much because I had to wait longer to get them because they're more heat tolerant, like they responded to the heat better. And so it wasn't quite what I was looking for. So these should do a lot better. I'm gonna get these started, have them growing, chop the tips off and pinch them and get them really bushy before I put them out. Hopefully in the middle of March is my plan to get those out. They can tolerate 25-degree temperatures without any protection at all. So latest by late March probably will be the latest, and I'll be able to put them out. Next is Blue Plurum. I have never done Blue Plurum. This is the Green Gold Blue Plurum. I just kind of wanted to try some kind of filler. I honestly have a lot of natural filler around here, a lot of wildflowers and a lot of wild greens and those kinds of things that I put into my bouquets. But I just wanted to try something that was nice and full, and everybody says this is really easy to grow. So we will give it a shot. So that is next week, the 3rd week in January. And the 4th week in January, I don't have anything that I have to do other than I have to put my larkspur in the freezer. And so this is the QIS Larkspur Formula Mix. This is something I failed to do the last time I tried larkspur, was put it in the freezer. So basically you're starting the stratification process, and then a couple of days before you are going to sow these, you're going to kind of take them out of the freezer during the day and then put them back at night. And it's like you're kind of mimicking nature for them to wake up That's the research I've done, at least. So everybody says larkspur is a really hard one to grow. I cannot fall sow it because it's not hardy enough to my zone. So it is very tricky to get this started. So we will see if I can get this going this time or not. So then I kind of get to take a week off in the first week of February, which is nice. And the second week in February, it's time to sow the larkspur and it's time to sow stock. This is Cat's Formula mix, and I am not planning on, so stock grows, everybody wants the double stock, but stock grows both single and double blooms, and the single blooms are a little bit more plain, I guess you could say. They're not as fluffy, but I'm going to keep both of them, single and doubles. I'm not going to thin anything. I'm just going to go with whatever I have. So we will give that a shot. And then right here is where I'm starting some veggies, but I'm not going to go over that in this video. We will go over that. I'll probably do that in February. We will go over veggies in February. I'm doing just flowers today. So then I'm so embarrassed by this. Then the next week, in the third week of February, I promised myself I was not going to try petunias because I got petunias last year and they did not do what I wanted them to do. But I think my problem was that I got like a very generic petunia that it was like all mixed colors, and it was a lot of seed for not a lot of money. And I don't know that that was the problem, but I have a feeling that maybe just kind of a mass-produced type of seed did not go as well. And I told myself, I'm just not going to do petunias this year. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to sell them on the farm stand. I don't need to make baskets. Well, guess what I did? I fell in love with the petunias that Johnny's has this year. Oh my word, they're so pretty, and they're new. They're new what they're doing, and I'm just like, I am just in love with it. Just gorgeous. So I have got, let's see here. Let's start with this one. I've got Easy Wave petunias. So I've got the blue Easy Wave, which is really a purple, okay? And these are all pelleted seeds, which is also very nice. So they come in this little vial, and they're like bigger seeds, so you can put one in each cell instead of having to guess. I got the Easy Wave Neon Rose. I got 2 of those, which I didn't know I did that, but that's nice. That will give me more. And I got the Easy Wave Plum. So I'm keeping some for myself for my baskets, like my personal baskets. I'm going to make 6 packs to sell on the farm stand. And then I'm going to probably make baskets from the farm stand too. And then I'm going to use them in pots and stuff. So I should have, just of the Easy Wave, I have 75 seeds. So we'll see how it goes, how many germinate. And then these are just gorgeous. I've never seen these before. The Double Cascade Petunia. I have a pink and a blue. It's purple. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? I've never seen anything like that before. And they are just, oh, they're gonna be so pretty. I've got to decide what I want to do with them. They can get 8 to 15 inches. So that doesn't sound very like trailing to me. I don't know that they're going to trail down the way like the wave petunias would in a basket. So I don't know if I'm going to put, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But whew, those are just, I couldn't say no to those. So it's only going to take up 2 trays. So I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. But those I'm starting the 3rd week in February. And then we are doing some verbena, which I have never started before. Everyone tells me it's really easy to grow, so I'm going to give it a shot. Something just is really cute for bouquets, kind of fluffy and a nice purple color. And then I'm also doing basil. I do have some Genovese basil downstairs, I think somewhere, so I'll be doing that. I've got cinnamon basil and the dark opal basil. These specifically are for cut flower production only. The Genovese, I'm gonna maybe put some out in the field just to have as filler, but most of those are just gonna be herbs. But these I'm not using as herbs, I'm using as cut flowers because they have cute little, oh, I guess you could see the picture right here. There's the cinnamon basil. It's got that cute little purple flower at the top. And then here is the dark opal. It's just a really nice dark purplish leaf color to add a little bit of depth and texture to a bouquet. And then next, I am going to put, that same week, put my lavender into the freezer. This is another one of those things that I've tried before. It didn't work. Not very many people have instructions on how to do it. And so I found a very detailed video on how to do this lavender and make it work. You put it in the freezer, then I'm gonna bring it out, let's see, 2 weeks later, and I'm going to wet a paper towel, put the seeds on the paper towel, put it in a window and let them sprout. Then I'm going to transplant those sprouts once they're a little bit mature into soil, and then it should start growing. So we will see how it goes. I'm more so, I will probably use these for some things, but I'm more so just thinking about putting some in my gardens just for looks, and then also maybe when they're more mature, selling some on the farm stand, like next year or the year after, depending on how they look. Selling some there too, because people would like that. Okay, so now we've gone into March. March, I am going to start feverfew. I have the magic single, which is, this is just the feverfew that everybody knows. This is a perennial in my area. It should be a perennial in my area. And I put some frost cloth on it come winter time just to have it. I'm actually making a bed of it next to my raspberries. I'm gonna till up a little bit and then put some soil on the top and plant my plants there, and they should come back every year. So I'm not gonna take up garden space for that. And they do like reseed themselves too. So that's pretty cool. And then the next week, I'm going to start purple echinacea. Again, I already have these seeds downstairs, and some lupin as well. And so those are things, echinacea, I have some growing outside. Again, I'm gonna just put some in my gardens, and sometimes I go and cut from them in my perennial gardens. And then also I'm gonna let them grow up and produce into its normal size flower, and I will probably sell it next year at the farm stand for people. And then that second week of March, I'm also pre-sprouting ranunculus. I did not pre-sprout my ranunculus last year because where I ordered from, they did not send it to me until the middle of April, which is a little bit late for me. And it definitely was late. I didn't get very many blooms and they were very short, but they worked. So I'm gonna pre-sprout them this year, and it should do much better. Again, I'm gonna split them into the field and into the greenhouse to see how those go. All right, third week of March, I am going to, I promised myself, this is another one of those, I promised myself I wasn't gonna get these straw flowers. I don't like straw flowers. I don't like the way they look. I don't like that they're crunchy. I don't like the texture. I just think it's kind of weird, honestly. I don't like the flower at all. Everyone has really good things to say about straw flower, and I believe them. I just don't like them, but I am actually getting them to dry them specifically. I definitely want to do better this year with having some fall items available. And in order to have fall items available, you really have to plan ahead. You have to be ready. And so my plan is to have these specifically for fall. So I will be cutting them and drying them and then doing something with them depending on how many I have, whether I'm just going to have dried bouquets that people can come and get, or whether I'm going to make some wreaths out of them. I haven't really decided. We'll see how many I have and how it goes. But I got a copper red, which I did the red specifically. I don't like red flowers, but I did it specifically because I'm doing this stuff for fall. A silvery rose, which is really pretty. And this is not a very good picture of it. This is just a watercolor picture, but it's got all kinds of different types of pink shades within the flower itself. And then there's also purple red as well. So again, that deep purple color for fall, I thought would be really nice, since that was the specific reason that I purchased it. Also that week, I'm going to start status. I will put a picture on the screen of what kind of status that I have. And I'm going to get those started. And then I'm also going to get some dill started. I will be using some of those dill plants for herbs for myself and to sell at the stand. But I'm also going to have it out in the field. And it is not the round dill that is yellow at the top. It is the bushy fern dill. And then you put it in your bouquet and it smells good. It's just kind of cool. And they can get really big and fluffy. And so I will be using that as well. This is also the week that I transplant the lavender, hopefully, if they've started to pop open. And then I'm also going to start yarrow. Again, I have the yarrow downstairs from last year. And I will be putting that in a bed by itself because here it is perennial. And so it will go in one of my 4x4 beds. I'll be putting it out not long after this. I will be putting it out before the end of my last frost and be covering it if I need to. So next we're already into that. We're still in March, but at the end of March. And so things are going to start getting busy because I'm starting seeds, but now hopefully at the end of March, everything is at least a little bit workable on the surface of the soil. So I can start putting some things out in the field. I definitely will have things in the greenhouse going for sure. Things will be coming in and out of the greenhouse depending on what the temperature is at night. So March really starts going very quickly. So last week in March, I've got Gomphrena, which is the QIS Carmine. Don't actually know what that looks like. I don't know if that's a mix or if I have no idea what I got. I'll put a picture on the screen. I don't really remember what that is exactly. I'm also going to start asters. I have never started asters, but again, this is one of those things that I want something for fall. I want to be able to continue my bouquets into September, potentially into October if I can. The last couple of years, like our first frost date is supposed to be in the middle of September, but the last 2 years we have not had a frost until October. So some of these things I can keep on going, and that's what these are for. This is the Tower Custom Mix, so I'll have lots of different colors. Echinops, the retro variety. I am starting these to have in my perennial gardens. First of all, I'm not going to put them into the field, but I'm going to put a lot into my perennial gardens for the fact of being able to cut on them, plus them look good. They're this cute little blue color. I don't have anything like that in my garden. I know exactly where I'm going to put it. It's going to look great. I'm going to put it in actually a couple different places. I did not realize when I made this crop plan that they don't bloom the first year. So I'm not going to have anything this year. I will have it next year though, and it'll be all ready to go. Have it, so I might as well just go ahead and start it. Also that week, this is a busy week. The end of March is a busy week. I'm going to start marigolds. I have giant yellow and giant orange, which are just beautiful. I don't like the smell of marigolds, but they are cute for bouquets, especially late summer bouquets with that bright yellow and that bright orange color. Also starting celosia, and we are going to be splitting this in between, what is that? Oh, splitting this in between the field and the greenhouse, to have a little bit of variety of time of when it's going to be ready. All right, so now we're into April, and the first week in April I'm going to pre-sprout my dahlias, which I need to check on those because I made a little oopsie and I had a bag of dahlias. They've got shavings in them, pine shavings in them, the same pine shavings I use in my chicken coop. But I accidentally left them. I turned all my grow lights on when I started the lisianthus. They just all are connected and automatically start at the same time. And I left the bag under the grow lights without realizing it. And so I'm not sure what to expect with those dahlias because I am a little bit worried that I've maybe burned them. They've gotten too hot and are going to be too dry and dead. We will see. I can't bring myself to go look at them yet, but hopefully they're okay and will survive. If not, I may buy a few. I have not had very good success with dahlias, so maybe this just will not be a dahlia year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm also going to start first week in April is cosmos. I have 3 different type of cosmos here. I have this apricot lemonade, which is from Baker Creek. Isn't it so pretty? I love it. And cosmos can be ready in the summer, and it will be ready in the summer, but it's really a great fall crop. They like the cold weather, and so in spring they're not blooming and they're not ready yet. But they go through the summer and they're kind of slow, and then in fall they speed back up again because they like the cold. I also have the double click mix from Johnny's, and then the cupcake blush from Johnny's, which they're so cute. So I will be working on those. I've only gonna do 50 plants, but I'm really gonna have to decide which ones I want. Cosmos, they produce a lot, and the more you cut on them, the more they produce. So you don't have to have a ton of plants to have a lot of crop. I'm also going to start along with those is Rudbeckia, the Sahara Rudbeckia. Again, doing this for fall. So I have something to come on for fall. For zones 9 to 10, this is a perennial. Some people in zone 8 even do it. Some people even in zone 7, I think, who have a hoop house can overwinter these. I will not be able to do that. This will be an annual for me. I am not a humongous fan of Rudbeckia because we have Rudbeckia here in Black-Eyed Susan is a common name in my perennial gardens, and they are just everywhere. And it's like a little bit overwhelming to be honest with you. It's like a lot. It's just a lot of yellow. They've been there for, oh wow. I bet they've been there for 30 years. They've been here. And so they've taken over. And so I do pull out every year. But then when you pull out, the seed pods fall everywhere and makes more anyways. But the Sahara Rudbeckia is different. I will be using that for fall. So next is sunflowers. And I have a whole pack of sunflowers. I am doing sunflowers very differently this year. I have been obsessed with watching the Gardener's Workshop, Lisa Mason Ziegler. And she does her sunflowers this way, and I'm gonna give it a shot. So she creates her own early sunflowers by starting them before her last frost date. And transplanting sunflowers is not recommended. You will see it on the back of every seed packet of sunflowers. It says transplants not recommended. So people who do this put them into those paper pots or into like some type of biodegradable pot. what I'm going to do is put them into egg cartons. I have so many egg cartons because people are giving me egg cartons all the time for my chickens. I'm going to put the soil in that, and those are biodegradable. So I don't even have to buy anything to start these sunflowers in. So what's gonna happen is I am starting sunflowers at the end, my first round of sunflowers at the end of April. I am going to let them grow on for 3 weeks. They are going to be transplanted out the first week in May. And by that time, my cool season flowers that I have a whole row of, which I think it's 40 feet long almost. I will have a makeshift low tunnel on the top of those to protect them. By that time, by the beginning of by the beginning of May, they won't need that anymore because all of them can handle a little bit of frost, and we won't be getting a whole lot of frost at the beginning of May. So I'm going to move that tunnel over to the row of sunflowers that I'm going to do. Put that plastic low tunnel over top of them for protection and to make them warmer. And so it's a little bit of a risk because we do have really cold nights at the beginning of May. Sometimes it can be a little weird, but I'm going to give it a shot. And so starting in that, third week in April, I am going to start my sunflowers. And then I'm going to start another round of sunflowers every single week, all the way through, I think I've got through the end of June. And I will be transplanting them every time. By the time the frost is gone, I don't need the low tunnel anymore, and I can take that right off. I love this idea, one, because we do not get sunflowers here in Vermont until at least the middle of July, but normally late July and into August. So to be able to have sunflowers before then is going to be really impressive to some people. And also, I hate direct seeding my sunflowers out there because it's hard to keep track of them. If they're growing, if they're not growing. And so I've lost a lot of seed by just stuff happening. I think sometimes they get dug up by animals, or, they just don't germinate right, or all kinds of stuff that happens. And so I'm going to do this instead. And at least I can keep track of the little seedlings and know which ones are started. So here are all of the different varieties I have. I'm probably going to do a mix each week of what I've got. So I'm going to have all kinds of things going on. Strawberry blonde, I will always buy these because I love them. And then everything else is a pro cut, which means it only makes, it's either a pro cut or a single stem, which means it only makes one flower. And it's one big, beautiful flower instead of a branching flower. So we've got Pro Cut White Light, Pro Cut White Night. Yes, they're different. Vincent's Choice DMR, Sunrich Summer Provence, Pro Cut Orange, Zohar Organic, and Pro Cut Peach. So I will be dispersing those evenly each week for those 10 weeks. I'll be doing 40 each 10 weeks. And so I will have 400 sunflowers, cross my fingers, throughout the entire summer. Now the ones that I'm starting late at the end of June, I am taking a little bit of a risk with those because if we do get a first frost in September, then they will die. So because they wouldn't have produced their flowers by then. So the ones that I'm starting later, I'm kind of betting that we're going to have a later frost, because, you know, it's worth it to me to risk that than to not have flowers into October, because I had really like wished I'd done that. Like I'd started all these sunflowers, like everything was going to be over in September. I've done that every year. But now I'm like, you know, I need to be planning for October, even if it doesn't work out right. So this will help me do that, the succession planting and getting those started. The last thing I'm going to show you for like summer crop is going to be zinnias. I love zinnias. I am not starting zinnias inside this year. I am starting them outdoors. We have the absolute perfect conditions for zinnias because it gets warm enough during the heat of the summer, which we have 80, you know, degree days, 90 degree, few 90 degree days, not a ton of them, but a few 90 degree days to keep them happy. But then we don't have hot, muggy nights. We have cool nights. Starting in July, when everything kind of, you start noticing that shift of the light changing, like we go back to the days getting shorter in June. And then once July comes, you're kind of like, oh, I can kind of notice this now. Our nights can get into the 50s in July. And zinnias love it. It's kind of like, I don't know, I think it almost like sets their color for them and sets their flower for them. And then they like grow during the next day. I don't know what it does, but they just love it. I don't ever have any type of pest issues. I never have any type of disease issues, mold, rotting, nothing. Zinnias really love it here. And so I'm direct seeding everything this year. My direct seeded zinnias did much better last year than starting them. Saves me a lot of space. And honestly, starting them earlier did not help at all. It didn't do anything. It didn't make them grow any faster. So I had the Benary's Giant Mix, and apparently I got 2 of those. Nice. I have the Aurora Linen, which is brand new from Johnny's. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Look at that picture. Just this, yeah, it's like a linen color, right? It's like this little beige color, gonna be really gorgeous. And then Ballerina. I loved the Ballerina last year. Loved the Ballerina last year. They were gorgeous. I'm also supposed to have a Queen Lime. I wonder if they sent me the wrong thing by accident. I will have to go look for those. I'm supposed to have a Queen Lime mix as well, but I do not see them in here or anywhere, so I will have to go check on those as well. So the other things that I do not have right now is that when July comes, and I do have this on my calendar, because if I don't put it on my calendar now, I'm going to forget. When I start thinking about my fall crops, there are things that I can start in June to have them blooming in September-ish time. Things that like the cooler weather that will go into October, even if we do have a frost, they will still handle it. So in the beginning of June, I'm going to order some more snapdragons. And I'm also going to order some cut kale. And I'm also going to order some more stock. I'm going to get those started in between June and July. I'll be splitting them in the middle of the field in the greenhouse. In the greenhouse, they'll last longer. And so I will give you more updates when I have more of those things picked out, but I at least have it on my calendar that I need to order these and what I need to order and when I need to start them. So this is the first time that I've really focused on trying to do a fall garden, just really trying to plan ahead and get that done. And so those are some things, flowers that are going to be in there, along with some of the other fall things that I have. So that was a lot. If you stuck with me give me some kind of emoji, because thank you so much for watching all of that. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to also link down below my video from my tulips, because my tulips will be the first things that pop up before any of this. And so if you want to go back and watch that video, I was 8 months pregnant in that video, so you can see me struggling trying to get those tulips planted. But hopefully those will be blooming in the next couple of months when I got all those planted in the fall, obviously. So, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the beautiful flowers and dreaming of your garden yourself. I will be keeping you updated on different things I have started and how they're going. I'm pretty real, so I will let you know when things fail too. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you are having a good winter and finding some fun, cozy hobbies to do. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.